Hey guys, it's Nana! Hi! Long time no see. I took an unexpected hiatus from book 2, but now I'm trying to get back into making videos, and I thought, what better way to ease back into videos than with a book haul, right? Am I right? So yeah, I wanted to show you a bunch of books that I either bought or received over the last several months. I think my last book haul was like in the spring, so I've acquired some books since then, and I thought I would just run you through them really quickly. So I have quite a few books to get through. I couldn't even hold them up all at once, but I'm going to go through them pretty quickly because some of them I've already talked about on my channel, or some of them I'm sure you've heard about, but I wanted to show you guys what I got. So I'm going in chronological order, mostly, I think so. And first up is Homegoing. This one I read over the summer and absolutely loved. Definitely one of my favorite books of the year. This book has been everywhere this year and on all the lists, so I'm sure you've heard about it, but just to give you a quick rundown, it's about two sisters who are growing up in 18th century Ghana, and their lives take two very different paths. One sister is married to a white man who's a slave trader, and the other one is sold into slavery. So then the book follows descendants of these two sisters, and then it's just so great, and it's a debut novel. I'm just like, she's too much. So read this one definitely if you haven't already. Next book I picked up because it was recommended to me by one of my friends in real life, and it's No One Knows by J.T. Ellison, and this is published by Gallery Books. This is a mystery thriller, and in this book the main character, Aubrey, her husband has gone missing, and actually the book starts 5 years from when he went missing, and no one's been able to find any trace of him or figure out at all what happened to him. So the state legally declares him dead, and she decides that she has to start moving on with her life, but then strange things start to happen, and then maybe actually they'll find out what happened to him. So I also read this one a bit earlier in the year, I think over the summer as well, and I liked it. I thought it was decent, solid, pretty good. Not super thrilling in my opinion, but a nice, easy summer read. Next in my pile is another big buzzy book this year. Say that 3 times fast. Big buzzy book. This buzzy book. Okay, anyway, moving on. The book I'm talking about now is Sweetbitter by Stephanie Danler, and I went to an author event all the way back in May where she talked a bit about this book and her background, and it just sounded so interesting. I mean, I already wanted to read it, and I heard her talk about it, and I was like, okay, now I really, really want to read it. First of all, it ticks off several key things that I love in books, and one is that it's set in New York, check, and it's about a 20-something growing up, check. I believe the main character's name is Tess, and she works in the restaurant industry, and it's about her coming of age in New York City in the 80s or 90s, I believe. I'm interested in the company that she works for in the book, which is Union Square Hospitality Group, so yeah, I think it'll just be a good read and make me want to kind of do some more background research as well. So I've been meaning to read this one pretty much all year, but I'll pick it up at some point. This book is one that I won in a Goodreads giveaway, and it's Rich and Pretty by Rumaan, and it's published by Echo Press, which is part of HarperCollins. I had this one on my TBR already, and then I won it in a giveaway, so I was like, woo woo, like, that's exciting. So this follows a friendship between two women who have been friends for a really long time, and I believe they are living in New York, but of course, as they mature and get older, the relationship starts to change and evolve, and in some cases, it's not so easy to remain friends anymore. So I'm excited to read this one. I love books about female friendships. Yeah, I've heard good things about this one. I like this cover as well, and I'm really excited that I won this. Next, I have The Raven King by Maggie Stiefvater, and this is published by Scholastic. And I'm sure you guys already know this is the 4th book in the Raven Cycle series. So I read this one a few months after it came out. You know, I was really excited to finish up the series like everyone else, and I really enjoyed it. I think it captured a lot of what I loved the most about this series, so it was a really good way to end off the series, and now it's done. Although there's going to be a spin-off series about Ronan, so yeah, I'm sure I'll be reading that. So now I own book 1 in hardcover and book 4 in hardcover, which is kind of random, but that's what I got. So do you guys do this thing where you're like so excited to read a book, and then you acquire the book and you're still super excited to read the book, but you don't read the book? That's what I've done with A Gentleman in Moscow by Amor Towles, and this is published by Viking, I believe, yep, by Viking, and I was so excited when I heard he was releasing a new book because I love Rules of Civility. And in some ways, I think it's underrated, even though I know people know about it, but I feel like I don't know that many people who've actually read it. Really excited when I heard that this new book was coming out, and I picked it up like the week it came out. I found it in the half-price new book section of The Strand, which is the best, the absolute best, and I have not read it yet. But I'm still really excited to read it. I don't know. It's about a man who lives in a hotel, and I believe he's under house arrest in this hotel, like he's not allowed to leave really. I think there is like a cast of interesting characters in the hotel, and it's kind of a close study of his life and why he's there, and it sounds interesting, and if it's anything like Rules of Civility, I think I'm really gonna love it. This is a book that I know lots of people loved, and then when my friend in real life also told me to get it, I was like, alright, I'm gonna get it. And it's a man called Uva? I don't know. I'm not sure. I should have looked up how to pronounce that before I did this. And this is published by Washington Square Press, which is part of Simon & Schuster. I don't really know much about this, but I believe it's a heartwarming story. Like, I think it's a happy kind of story. I was sort of saving it for a time when I really needed something like uplifting and heartwarming. So I haven't read this one yet either, but I know lots of people love it, so I feel like I'll probably love it. Okay, we are now over halfway through the stack. Good job, guys. So next up is a book that I absolutely loved so much, and it's Tipping the Velvet by Sarah Waters. And this is published by Riverhead, and I love the way they've done her series. They all kind of look like this with this dark background and then an image that stands out from it. So I really like what they've done with the series, Riverhead. But anyway, this was my first Sarah Waters book, and I was reading it along with Katie from Effusions of Wit. All the time when I was here, people talk about Sarah Waters and how great she was, and I was like, yeah, she sounds really awesome. But like, it hadn't like made it to the top of my list, and then I finally picked it up because, why? Oh, because one of my Bookstagram friends was reading the entire Sarah Waters list and just raving about it, so I was like, I need to read at least one of her books. And I read this one and it was so great. I mean, yeah, just thinking about it now gives me the warm and fuzzies about some of the things that happened in the book. It's about a girl named Nancy who meets a singer named Kitty, and she is smitten with Kitty. But this is set in the Victorian period, so in England in the 1800s. And of course, a relationship between two women is completely frowned upon. And at first, Nancy doesn't even realize what she's feeling, or isn't willing to accept what she's feeling towards Kitty. But yeah, it's a romance, but there's so much more than that. That's just like the tip of the iceberg. So this one was really great, and if you haven't read any Sarah Waters yet, I'm gonna echo everyone else who has and be like, go pick up one of her books right now. So the next 3 are books that I picked up for Halloween because I really wanted to do some spooky Halloween appropriate reads, and the first one was We Have Always Lived in the Castle by Shirley Jackson, and this is the Penguin Classics Deluxe edition. I like forgot what I was saying partway through. I was like, Penguin Classics Deluxe. I don't know. Anyway, that's this edition, which has the really nice French flaps and the deckled edges. I'm not really a fan of deckled edges, but I like French flaps. I'm down with that. But this was my first Shirley Jackson, like full length, other than reading The Lottery in school, and I really enjoyed this. And after I read this, I reread The Lottery, and I was just like, oh my gosh, I'd forgotten how, what's the word? Interesting it is. As I'm sure you know, this is a great Halloween read, and I really enjoyed the kind of zany characters that are in this book, so I'm sure I'll be reading more Shirley Jackson in the future. I also picked up this gorgeous graphic novel, Through the Woods by Emily Carroll, and this is published by Simon & Schuster, and I think this might actually be the first graphic novel that I'm showing on my channel. I mean, I just don't really read them that often, so I haven't had the opportunity to show one. Read part of Persepolis in college. That might be it. Like, so this might be only be the like second graphic novel I've ever read. But I picked this up because Books and Quills did a video about Halloween reads, and she showed this, and I just thought it was beautiful. And I mean, it is beautiful. If you haven't seen the inside, you know, definitely like Google some images or check it out. But I just thought this was beautifully illustrated, and I really enjoyed the stories as well. I think they were just the right amount of creepy, like nothing that was gonna keep me up at night, but enough, you know, that I'd be flipping the pages and be like, So I love this, and I need help with graphic novels, guys. Like, what should I read? What are your favorite graphic novels? Let me know down in the comments below, because I am a total noob. I also picked up A Monster Calls by Patrick Ness, and this is published by Candlewick Press. I'd heard a lot about this, but I didn't really know what it was about, but I just knew that people like felt strongly about it. And then I read it, and oh my gosh, the feels, guys. So many feels. Yeah, I'll talk about this more in an upcoming video because I'm way behind on wrap-ups, but I thought this was so beautifully done, so moving, and so spot on with the bevy of emotions that someone would feel when you're going through this kind of thing. So, this was so good. Then I was sent this book by the publisher, William Morrow, and that's Closed Casket by Sophie Hannah. So, as I'm sure most people know, Sophie Hannah has been continuing the Agatha Christie series, and I actually haven't read any of her Agatha Christie books yet, so when I saw that this one was coming out in October, I believe, I was really curious and wanted to read it, and it was definitely like on a mystery kick. Gorgeous cover, definitely very like bloody, and I'm excited to read this one. 2 more books to go. This is another one that was sent to me by the author actually, and this is The Thunder Beneath Us by Nicole Blades. And I was really excited to get this because it was Well Read Black Girl's pick for November. Of course, I did not read it in November because I've been such a slow reader, but anyway, I'm still going to read it, and I think I'm going to enjoy it. It's about a girl named Bess, and when she was much younger, she was involved in an accident with her 2 brothers, and they were killed and she survived. So it's about growing up and dealing with that emotion and being part of that situation, and how do you move on when you're the one who's left behind. So I think it sounds really interesting and sounds like it could be really like emotionally gripping, so I'm looking forward to this one. And last but not least in this massive book haul is White Teeth by Zadie Smith. And this edition is from Vintage, and this is shockingly my first Zadie Smith. I've never read anything by her. Well, I mean, I'm reading this right now, but this is my first time reading her, and yeah, it's almost hard for me to believe because I feel like if you knew me, you might think that she would be one of my favorite authors. But this is set in the UK, in London, and it kind of jumps around in time, and so far I've met a few characters. There's Archie and Samad, Archie is white and Samad is from Bangladesh, Bengal, and they are friends because they fought in the Second World War together. And I'm at a little bit over halfway through right now, but so far there have been really interesting discussions about race, about immigration, about kind of cultures clashing, and I'm really enjoying the writing. So, and I also find it funny, like there are definitely moments where I've chuckled, and I think it's meant to be funny, but did anyone else, I don't know, I haven't really heard people talking about her as a humorous writer, but yeah, I'm really enjoying this one, and I'm really excited to finally be reading some Zadie Smith. Woo! So I've just talked your guys' ears off, but I hope you enjoyed seeing the books that I've acquired over the past few months. Definitely let me know if you've read any of them. I think about half of them I have read and half of them I haven't read, so out of the ones that I haven't read, let me know if there's any that I should just shoot straight to the top of my TBR. I also wanted to say thank you guys so much for sticking around and, you know, still being here after I took a long hiatus without any warning. You know, stuff happens, but I'm trying to get back into things, and I plan to make more videos, and people were checking in with me and like, how are you doing? Anyway, I just appreciate that so much. I'm doing well, and I missed you guys. I've been like lurking on BookTube while I was on my break. I still like have been watching videos and commenting and all that stuff. I just hadn't been posting anything new. But I hope you guys are doing well. Fill me in on what's been going on with you, and definitely let me know if you've read or want to read any of the books I talked about today. If you want to talk to me elsewhere, I'm definitely still on Goodreads, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat. You can find me in all of those places, and I'll leave my links down below in the description bar. See, I've been gone so long I don't even know what it's called. Just kidding. Description box down below. Thank you again for watching. I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!